To begin this lesson on rate and slope, I'd like you to consider these three problems. Copy them into your journal, see if you can work them out, stop the video while you're doing that, and then restart the video to check your answers. So the first problem is, I drove 200 miles in 4 hours. How fast was I going in miles per hour? Second, I bought 4 pounds of hamburger meat for $31.80. What does hamburger meat cost per pound? And third, if I bought 15 gallons of gas and it cost me a total of $58.95, what is the cost of a gallon of gas? Again, stop the video while you work these out and restart them to check your answers. Okay, let's take a look at the answers. So if I drove 200 miles in 4 hours, I drove 200 over 4 miles per hour. That's 50 miles per hour. If I bought 4 pounds of hamburger meat for $31.80, I divide the cost by the number of pounds, and I get the amount I spent per pound, $7.95 per pound. If I buy 15 gallons of gas and it cost me $58.95, the cost of a gallon of gas was $58.95 divided by 15, okay, or $3.99 a gallon. Each of these is a rate. And a rate we understand as being something like a this per that. When we say 50 miles per hour, $7.95 per pound, $3.99 per gallon. Those are called this per that, or this for each that, 50 miles for each hour, $7.95 for each pound. Those are all called rates. And we're going to look at different methods of calculating rates. In this case, in each one of these cases, the units tell us how we calculate a rate. Miles per hour means miles divided by hours. So we take the number of miles, in the case before 200, and divided it by the number of hours. Miles per hour, miles divided by hours. Same for the second problem. We took the number of dollars divided by pounds, dollars per pound. And in the last one, dollars divided by gallon, dollars per gallon. In each case, the dependent variable divided by the independent variable gives you the rate. So when we say that our speed is 50 miles an hour, distance in miles depends on how many hours you travel. So it's miles per hour, dependent divided by independent. $7.95 per pound. Price depends on how many pounds you buy. $3.99 per gallon. The cost depends on how many gallons you buy. Now, let's see how to compute a rate using a table. So here's a table of time, and the time is, say, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and the odometer in my car was reading 6,030 miles, 6,070, and so on is in the table. So I'd like you to determine from this table how fast I was going. Now to do that, let's consider each hour what happened. So we started from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. That's 1 hour. That's 2 o'clock minus 1 o'clock. That's 1 hour. And during that 1 hour, I went 40 miles. So my odometer went from 630 to 670. So the difference between those is 40 miles. In the second hour, from 2 to 3, so 3 minus 2 is 1 hour, and 6,110 minus 6,070 is 40 miles. So again, I went 40 miles in 1 hour. And then in the last hour, between 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock, I went also 40 miles per hour. Now notice that these, what we'll call hockey sticks here, these red hockey sticks, tell us how to do this computation. We subtract this from we do the subtraction, this minus this, okay, and that gives us how far we went. This minus this tells us the time. Once again here, this minus this gives us how far we went. This minus this tells us the time. And once again, this minus this tells us how far we went. This minus this tells us the time. So we're going to call this the hockey stick method, and this is how we find a rate from a table. Now, if we had not done each one, but we had done the rate for the entire table, we could have started here to here. So 6150 minus 6030 is equal to 120. 4 minus 1 is 3. So we have 120 miles in 3 hours. That's still 40 miles per hour. Now I'd like you to try. Here is a table that gives me the time and the number of calories that I consumed up to that time during an exercise routine. So this says after 15 minutes I had burned 60 calories. After 25 minutes I burned a total of 100. After 30 minutes 120, and after 60 minutes 240. So using this table, I'd like you to figure out how many calories per minute I burned. So stop the video, copy this table into your journal, and use the hockey stick method to figure out how many calories per minute I burned. When you've got it figured out, restart the video to check your answer. Okay, so let's check out the answer. So between minutes 15 and 25, all right, so 25 minus 15 is 10 minutes. So in those 10 minutes, I burned 100 minus 60 calories. That's 40 calories. That's 40 calories in 10 minutes. 40 divided by 10 is equal to 4. So that looks like a rate of 4 calories per minute. Now let's see if we get the same rate for the entire table. So between minutes 25 and 30, so 30 minus 25, that's 5 minutes, I burned 120 minus 100, that's 20 calories. 20 divided by 5 is 4. So that is again 4 calories per minute. And then we'll check the final box here. So between minutes 30 and 60, that's 60 minus 30 is 30 minutes. I burned 240 minus 120, that's 120 calories. So 120 divided by 30 is again 4 calories. So we would say that I burned 4 calories per minute. I'd like to make one more point about this problem and the hockey stick method. It's important when we do a problem like this to check several of the rates. In other words, don't just take the first 2 points and compute the rate for that. Take some other pairs of table entries and compute the rates, just to make sure that the rate is constant for the entire table. In other words, by constant I mean that each time you compute the rate, you get the same number.